Okay. Hey guys, this is Mary Coffey filming from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I want to introduce my friend Paj. He's become a great friend just in the short time we've met.
Oh man,
You ever just meet someone
short.
and you're just instantly connected? Well,
That's
that's
right.
this guy Paj, and I just thought, you know what? Let's do a webinar. Let's do a podcast together.
Let's
So,
do it.
want to introduce Paj? He already has a podcast out of, I guess, Alpharetta, Georgia.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, so if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, and then we could
yeah,
chat. Yep.
yeah. No, I mean it's great to be on your show with you. I know. I looked at it a little bit. This is like your fourth episode, I think.
Yep.
So I appreciate the confidence in having me on. Hopefully, we get some good messages out to people today. But and I know we will. I'm being modest and humble, but I know we will. Um, yeah. So my name is Paj. My background is super duper crazy. The podcast she's referring to is called The Alpha Hour. So on YouTube, if you go The Alpha Hour podcast, it'll come up. You guys can check it out. Episode one, I talk about in depth of my history of where I came from and all the good stuff. So I don't want to get too far into it here, but yeah, I've had a very not ordinary life, very not ordinary. So yeah, I'm proud of that. You know,
Hmm.
it's my path that was laid for me, and I didn't sway from it. You know, even when it was scary, I still went. You know, where most people wouldn't go. Even people I've told about and talked to about, they're same thing. They're like, "Nah, I would have done that. Go live in another country, try to learn another language, start over, and you don't know anybody." You know, that kind of thing. I like scary things like that, though. You know, so I was a special operator with Blackwater back in the day. I made a lot of great connections and friends with throughout the whole special operations, groups, and I got to see a lot of stuff that most people wouldn't. I really wouldn't even tell people about because it's too crazy. I think it's better that most people don't know about that side of the world. But people do need to understand how great they have it in this country, and there's a reason all these people are risking their life to get across a border to get into those countries because it's so bad out there. And you won't know that if you don't leave America. Even
Right.
if you leave America to go to like a European destination like Paris or something like that, even then, when it's time to come home, you're so happy to come home. Even
Right.
that is like a big thing. So, you just realize a lot when you live long enough, and if you not age wise, but live like as in you go out there and take chances, which my whole life, that's all I did was take chances. So for me, it was one of those things where I didn't even think twice. Like I didn't even let myself pause to say, "Well, let me think about this." It was like, "Here it is, pause." I'm like, "Cool, let's go. I'll figure it out." That was always my attitude. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And I did. I figured it out. No matter where I went, I figured it out. And here we are. And all of the things I do now is because of all of the crazy chances I took then. So, no regrets here. Seen a lot of, done a lot, and enjoyed all of it. And it's a lot of great memories and a lot of great lessons. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I feel like with your history and my passion to just kind of uplift and share what I've learned to get to where I am today,
Hmm.
I think we have probably a lot to talk about and a lot to cover. Um,
Yeah, this is
yeah.
gonna have to be a regular thing because there's no
Yep.
way in one podcast we can do it. There's no,
Yeah.
I mean, even the phone conversations we have, they're all podcasts.
Right.
Literally,
Exactly.
if there was a camera rolling, we'd have like 6 episodes in right now. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's it's great to be with people that are doing things in the world to help people, not to help themselves. You know what I mean? Because most people, when they do a business or whatever, it's to help themselves. They want to elevate themselves, they want to grow, they want to make more money, get a better house, get a better car, all that stuff. But when you do a business and you're geared towards helping people, all of that other stuff comes with it. But you don't have to even worry about it because you're not focused on that. You're focused on like, how many people can I help? Like, how big can I get to help even more people? Like, that's for me doing the podcast, like our podcast is not even monetized. Like people
Right.
think like, oh, they're trying to like it's a business. It's not at all. It's
Right.
not a business. I mean, I've given away more merchandise than we've. I don't think we've sold anything. I think I just give it to people.
Yeah.
So, and you know, my team is always like, dude, we gotta sell some of this. I'm like, it's all right. You know, it's like, it's fine. Let them have the hoodie and let them have the shirts. It's good. But the channel is literally to help people. That's the only purpose of it, is to help people. So, you know, we haven't made any money off of it. I spend, you know, $10,000 a week on production and social media teams and all that stuff that we do, just to be able to reach more people and let people know that, look, there's a place where you can come to and you're gonna hear the real advice from
Yep.
people who have lived it, not people who have heard it or read it. And and it's gonna be, it's guidance, really. You know, it's not like we don't tell anybody what to do. We tell people, you know, I've done this, and this is what happened to me when I made this decision, and this is where my life went from doing this and doing that. Because you know, there's a lot of people I know. I got messages from people that had never traveled and saw the podcast and saw how much emphasis I was telling them. Like, you got to get out of this country to go see what the world
Yeah.
is like. You
Yeah.
got to experience the world, because it just changes you. It just makes you better once you do that. And I had people message me, send me pictures from other parts of the world. Yo, I'm in, like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm in Kuwait. I'm in, you know, Spain. I'm in Portugal, whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they didn't even go like to another state before that. You know what I mean? But they saw it and they were like, no, I did it. And then when I talked to them afterwards, they're like, yeah. I talked to a guy the other day. We were talking on Instagram. He's another social media guy. He's in the relationship space, and we're gonna have him on the podcast. But you know, we connect. He's all the way in Sydney, Australia. You know
Nice.
what I mean? And saw the podcast and like connected with Tony and then connected with me. And it's like, you know, the world is not a big place. People think it's big because they haven't left. They haven't left the comfort of their circle, right? It's not big. If you had because I have friends, I know you do too. You know, the people that we know, like they have like private jets. Well, that jet is not like just an airplane to them. It's a time machine. Like literally, that's a time machine,
Mm.
because the amount of time it takes you to travel, right? If you have your own plane, you
Right.
can decide when you want to go. You can like literally an hour. You can call. They'll fuel up the plane to have it
Yep.
ready. You go drive right to it. You get on the plane and you go to your destination. Like
Right.
I had a meeting in Vegas one time, and this is recently. So I took the very first flight out of Atlanta and went to Vegas. Did a 2 hour meeting. Got on the last flight, which was like at 5:30 in the afternoon. Back to Atlanta. I didn't get back here. I didn't get home till like 1:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but if I had my own plane, then I could get on a plane, go over there, do my meeting, and come right back. I'll be back in like 6 hours instead of like 24. You know,
Right. Right.
like it's a huge difference. So and the people that I know that have planes, they don't tell people they have planes. You know, they're not out there doing selfies on the airplane and shit.
Yeah.
You would never know,
Yeah.
because to them, it's not about that. It's not. That's not the purpose of them having an airplane. The only purpose they have to get that airplane is to be able to get more done, right? It just gives you more time to get more done, which is why we talked about, you know, our group, we're going to get an airplane.
Yep.
I already called the company. I talked to the guys. I was
Mhm.
like, listen, we got a whole team. We got to get this
Mhm.
done. It's
Mhm.
going to happen this year, you know, and you won't see us doing selfies on it and shit like that. Nothing like that, you know. If you ever see anything like that, it's really just to say thank you for the blessing. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And that leads up to like my next topic. It's like, you know what? A lot of times like the patients that I talk to, they set up their own boundaries.
Oh
And I
yeah,
guess we can like, organically get to that, topic. Like,
yeah,
how do you get what you want? Like why are those that want things and they can't get them? And then we set
yeah,
these and from all that I've acquired, all the knowledge that I've acquired through to get to where I am today, we
yeah.
set our own limiting beliefs. And it could be subconscious or it could be conscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes it's subconscious. It's something that, we think we can't get, but we don't know that there's a
Mm-hmm.
wall there, right? So we create these And like you said, you know what? Yeah, I want to have a plane. I want to have a jet. I want to have this. I want to have that. And there is really, no, if it's for you, you're going to
Yeah.
have it. And
Yeah.
when you're in alignment, and for me, I find when you're virtuous, you're kind, and you're truthful,
Hmm.
you get everything you want.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to, you literally
No,
don't have to try to get
it's that
anything.
easy.
It's
It's
given to
really
you.
cool.
It's
Yep.
gi- I mean, this relationship with you guys, you and your team, is
Yeah.
literally an example of that, because it wasn't, nobody came to each other with the thought of, hey, how much money can we make?
Yeah.
Right? It was like it was an introduction, and then from the introduction, everything else just grew or just naturally, right? We were
Hmm.
just, I was being me, you guys were being you guys,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
everybody just connected, and it was like, okay,
Yep.
we got to do something here. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, like we
I
got to do
know.
something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something, because I feel like this is a good energy circle where
Mhm.
you have so many people that are geared towards wanting to help people, and that right there is rare by itself. So meeting somebody who's not about themselves first and is actually in it to you do that, and especially you're in that field, what I mean. So a lot of doctors that are concerned for their own well-being first. I know a lot of doctors that are like that. It's just and then we know other doctors that are just like super duper, like trying to literally change the world to make it better. Like
Yes.
Joe. You know what I mean? Joe gives me that good energy where his purpose is, I mean, he's a successful guy anyway, but I think his purpose is to help people. I get that from him, which is
Mhm.
why it would work for me to even be around someone like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I get approached a lot from doctors that want to build hospitals and build clinics and do this and do that.
Yeah.
And until you guys, I didn't do anything with anybody. I just been doing my own thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like legitimately, it just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? I trust
Yeah.
my feelings. I go with my feelings, and if I don't feel like this is like good, like there's something not good happening here, like there's something underneath that's like not, you know what I mean? It's not the whole thing. It's
Disconnect.
like,
Yeah. It doesn't feel
right,
right. Yeah.
right. If it doesn't feel right to me, I can't do it. I just
Right.
can't do it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's nothing personal against anybody. It's just like I have to. I'm huge on energy, so if the energy is not there, like
Of course.
it's just not gonna go anywhere. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the cool thing about what we do. It's we just follow our feelings, right? We follow what drives us, right?
Yep.
When you're in tune with your energy, with your core, with your soul, there are no mistakes because you're
Hmm.
just going to ask yourself, like, "Hey, what should I do?"
Yeah.
And when you have like for me, like I listen to your podcast. The first thing I do in the morning, I try to before even looking at my phone, is
Hmm.
pray. Right, I light
Yeah.
a candle, I have my prayers, and I close my eyes. And somebody teaches me, okay, I do these, because I'm a Catholic, recovering Catholic, right, if you will, right. But now I'm like, okay,
Recovering.
well,
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, it's
Okay.
sort of, like, okay, there's no monotony in it. I'm trying to, pray for, but really, it's that intention, it's that connection, it's that relationship,
Right.
right, with
Right.
yourself and with God,
Yeah.
right, that just
Yeah.
guides you. And there, and when you do that every morning, I try to do it every night if I'm not too exhausted, because
Hmm.
I work,
Hmm.
I don't like you, if there were 8 days, I'd
7 days
work
a
7 days
week.
a week.
7 days a week.
Right,
Yep.
but it's not work, it's passion, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, I get tired, right? So I try to do that in the morning, I try to do it at night, but I
Hmm.
will say when I set those intentions in the morning, the day just flows. And you'd be surprised when you're specific about what it is that you want, like very specific, and you're almost feeling like you have it,
Hmm.
you'll have it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I run, two businesses, right? I have all this staff, and I worry all the time, like, okay, well, I got to hit this number, make sure I
Yeah.
can pay all my staff members, right? You just learn to let that go at the end
Yeah.
of the day,
You
right?
have to be specific with what
Yes.
you want.
Yeah.
People go, well, I kind of want a house. Like, what kind of house?
Right.
What style? How
Yeah.
big? Where
Right.
at? Like, tell me details. Like, tell me you know what kind of house, because you've been looking and you've seen pictures, so you know in your head what kind of house you
Yeah.
want. You don't always want a
Yeah.
house. You
Yeah.
know what house you want. So tell me exactly what kind of house, because you do that and it'll happen. If you
Yes.
just say, hey, I just want to, I want to help people, okay, and okay, well, how do you want to help people? Okay, how are you going to do that? When are you going to start? What's the process? Can I get involved? Is there a way I can help you? Anything, right? People are just so vague with what they want. It's because most people are scared to even say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because most people are scared to even do what it takes to get to it, right? So they're like, I want this,
Mm,
okay,
yeah.
but I also know for me to get that big house and have the pool and have this, I'm gonna have to make a lot of money, which means I'm gonna have to work a lot, which means I have to make a lot of connections, I have to sacrifice a bunch of other stuff for it. Like, I don't think I'm ready to do that. So I'll just say I want a house. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But there's like crazy motherfuckers like me where I want a house that's Mediterranean style. It's gonna have 13 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms. It's gonna have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
The jacuzzi's gonna look like this.
Yeah.
17 car garage, helicopter
Nice.
pad, whatever, right?
Okay.
Whatever. But it's like to the T. You like if I tell you something, it's gonna be to the T
Yeah.
because I know like I've seen it. Okay, that's gonna be my house. All right. So now I go, okay, that's gonna be my house. So for me to be able to get that house, right? I know what I have to do to get even make it possible for that to happen. That means I have to work way beyond what a normal person would work because that's not a normal person's house, right? A
Yeah.
normal house is what? 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2 car garage,
Right.
the acreage is like nothing. You know what I mean? It's like that's the typical house, right?
Right.
A house like that, you have to accomplish things in order to be in a position to even talk about a house like that. That's why when you go to the bank to get approvals, right? To get it pre-approved on a house, right? So they go, okay, cool. Well, let's see your credit score, let's see your income, let's see this, that. So if you're looking at a $10 million house and your income's like good enough for a $400,000 house, the bank's gonna be like, we can't give you a loan for a ten million
Right.
dollar house. You're
Yeah.
gonna be evicted in 2 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the same concept. You gotta be specific in what you want out of life. Not just material things, but like out of life. Like if you want a family and you want 3 kids and you want this and you want that, like whatever it is, you gotta be super specific. And you gotta be realistic too, that sometimes, a lot of times, at the beginning for sure, a lot of times what you planning on doing will not work. Like you will fail 1,000 times
Hmm.
and then you will win one. Like that's how it works. But
Hmm.
during those 1,000 failures, you're just getting stronger, stronger, stronger,
Yeah.
stronger. Like it's
Yeah.
like, when you see somebody who's got like scars, you know what I mean? I've got
Hmm.
scars everywhere. So from going to war and
Me
I
too.
was a professional fighter and all
Nice.
this stuff, right? So I've
Hmm.
got scars everywhere. But when you look at someone who's got no scars, right? You're like, that guy was super safe. Like he's got no scars. Like everybody has something, right?
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you fall and you hit your head on the table, you got a scar. But when you see somebody who's gone through a lot, you see all these scars, and sometimes it's not just physical ones. You can see the emotional scars, and you can see these other scars when they talk to you. You're just like, wow,
Yeah.
there's so much there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, that guy right there, that guy's strong. That
Yeah.
guy, there's nothing that is gonna bother him. What the world can, there's an asteroid about to hit the Earth. All right, cool. Let's figure it out. We need to figure out how to get as far as we can away from that thing. You know what I mean? So it's scars are good, man. It's good to fail because the failures are what makes the success so awesome and so rewarding. Is
Absolutely.
because you gotta fail. I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay to fail. You want to fail. You know?
Yeah. No, I love that you mentioned scars. For a long time, I have a wine bar, and I learned that grapes taste the best when they struggle, right?
There
When
you
those
go.
rocks and the vines and the roots need to struggle through those rocks, and they're complex. They're complicated grapes. They taste so good, right? There's such a big difference with that
Right.
grape than one that just grows in beautiful, fertile land,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. See
And
it? That's a great, and that's nature telling you.
yes,
That's
it
even
is. You
nature
learn
telling
from
you that.
nature, that's for
Right.
sure.
It's better. It's
Yeah,
better like this.
yeah,
I mean, when people go hunting
yeah.
and they just, there's a difference between going hunting for sport
Hmm.
and then going hunting because you just want to tap into that primal side of you that we all had at some point. It's there. It's genetically there in our DNA. You know what I mean? It's just like we
Yeah, of
have
course.
grocery stores, so we don't have to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you think about this. So if something happened, right? Like we saw what happened with COVID, that was nothing. That was just the, like little something they threw out there at
Hmm.
us, right?
Hmm.
If something really bad happened, where people were like, okay, there's no more food, like how are we gonna eat? You know, if you don't know how to hunt, if you don't know where to start, even your family is not gonna be able to eat. You know, you're not gonna be able to survive.
Right.
Like I have really good friends that are like great hunters, and the first thing they'll tell you is they never sport hunt. When they go out to hunt, they go through the process of, you know, our genetic DNA thing that we go like searching for food and tracking the food and then all that stuff. But when they hunt, like let's say they hunt an elk, that elk does not go to waste in any way.
Right.
Every part of that elk is used.
Consumed. Yeah.
Yeah, every part of it. You know what I mean? Not only that, but I don't know if you know how big elks are. Giant. They're like
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They're so big. So that one elk can feed like, I mean, it literally can feed your
40.
family for like a year
Yeah.
on that thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that's how crazy it is. But those guys, there's a huge difference between those guys because they don't let that animal go to waste at all. That animal does not go to waste. That animal is consumed. And
Yeah.
there's something completely different when you hunt an animal and you eat that meat. It's different. It's complete. It's weird
Oh,
because
interesting.
it's not like you're eating meat. It's like you're it's like the energy thing, man. It's hard to explain unless you've been through it. Like I'm sure if
Yeah.
you have hunters and stuff like that that watch this, they'll
Uh-huh.
know what I'm talking about. Because when you
Yeah.
eat that animal, like you know, you hunt it and then they, you know, you skin it and all that stuff, and then you get some of the meat and you literally cook it out there while you're out there hunting. Because you know, hunting and out, I mean, you're out there for 3, 4 days, sometimes longer, you know, to track it and do everything properly. And when you eat that meat, it's just not the same as going and buying meat. It's completely different.
Well, you
It's
understand the process that it takes to get to that point, right? Do you
oh
understand the
yeah,
process, the mind process of
oh yeah,
finding that and
yeah.
and hunting for that and then skinning it and preparing it and even that sacrifice that animal makes to
That's a
provide for you.
sacrifice. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
So it's
exactly. I
whether,
mean, and
versus just buying it at Whole Foods or Fresh Market.
yeah, yeah. I mean, buying elk meat at the butcher shop is not the
Yeah.
same as when you go and track that animal down. That animal was alive 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That meat is not
Exactly.
the same. It's just
Yeah.
not the same. It's
That's
not
cool.
processed. It's all
Yeah.
natural.
I've
It's
never
from
gone hunting. I'll have to go hunting
oh,
sometime.
it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Like you
Yeah.
know, like I say, and you know, it also helps the you know people don't want to talk about that, but it actually helps the population control of it. You know, when it gets out of hand and things like that, they'll give you more tags and
Hmm.
things like that. But it's the whole process is it's literally, I mean, if people would do that one time, it would change their life. It would
Yeah.
literally change how they see things or feel things or, you know, when you eat something, even then it makes it like now when I eat food, it's not like it's a completely different connection with the food, right?
Mhm.
So when I go hunt and I get the elk and when we cook it out there in in the, you know, in the woods and
Yeah.
we eat it, that feeling is not the same feeling of me going to Whole Foods and buying some steak and bringing it home and throwing it on the grill.
Yes. Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's not the same thing because this animal, I was looking at it. You know what I mean? I had some kind of connection with it before that happened, right?
Well, it goes hand in hand with like working hard, from nothing, right? So I started listening to this podcast called Founders, right?
Uh-huh.
And it talks about biographies of some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world,
Yeah,
right? Like Lilu and Sam and the founders of Walmart, and the founders of Hyundai, who came from nothing. I
right.
mean, he lived
Literally
on a
nothing.
farm with absolutely nothing, and then had three failed businesses before he partnered up with Ford and had a
Mhm.
successful business with Hyundai, right,
Yeah,
in Korea.
yeah.
So my point is, it's like that for me is the most rewarding. Even like people that are from money that came from trust funds and had
Hmm.
millions, billions of dollars given to them,
Yeah.
and they still worked, right,
Yep.
using the dividends or whatever interest from that to grow their
Yep.
business
Yep.
independent of what was given. That's more rewarding. So we learn from nature, you know,
Yeah.
like the harder we work for something from our own efforts, of course, the more rewarding it is in
Oh
every
yeah.
aspect,
Yeah. Hundred
right?
percent.
So when you
100%.
mentioned
Like
cards, yeah, absolutely.
the reward in life is accomplishment, and the only way to achieve accomplishment is to not give up work, right?
Yes.
So you have to. I tell this to people all the time. I do mentoring, and the first thing I tell people, I'm like, look, here's the deal. Like, I'm gonna listen to the things that you're striving to achieve, okay? And I'm gonna tell you what you need to do, according to what I know and what I believe. But I'll tell you one thing that stays consistent is if you don't work every single day, if you don't
Hmm.
work every single day, you're not gonna get to your destination.
Right.
And when you reach your destination, you got to work every single day
Yeah, it's a
after that. Like
responsibility.
you
Yeah.
cannot
Yeah.
slow down. You can't stop. It
Hmm.
doesn't work like that.
Hmm.
So I tell them, if you're not ready to work every single day, right, then you shouldn't even start because it's pointless. You're never going to get there. And then all you're going to do along the way is complain. You're going to complain about why it's not happening. I'll tell you why it's not happening because you're not working hard enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're just not working hard enough. Like,
Right.
one of the things like people always complain about is that, things are more expensive, right?
Hmm.
Groceries are more expensive. Car insurance is more expensive. Homes are more expensive. I'm like, okay, cool. I said, instead of saying that, go figure out how to make more money.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're
I al-
complaining about something that you cannot change, right?
right.
You have no control over that. You know what you have control over? You can control how much money you make, how much success you have.
Yes.
So stop complaining about the gas prices, the grocery prices, the
Yes.
insurance prices, all that shit.
Yes.
Stop. Stop doing that.
Because you're
Nobody gives a
attracting
shit.
it. You're attracting it too. Like I have patients that come in and they come in with all this negativity. I said, you know what? You're creating it. You know,
Yeah.
like like you need to immediately replace that negative thought or that negative comment with something positive.
Yep.
Okay, and cancel that negative thought that you've had until
Yeah.
it becomes a habit. Right? I've run away
Yeah.
from negative people, but I've learned how to also deal with them to help uplift them. And that's why we're here,
Yeah.
right? Is through our
Yeah.
scars, through our strengths, through who we are, who we've become, we can uplift, right? And that's why we're
Right.
here
Right. And
to people to understand, how not to
yeah.
struggle.
No, you're 100% correct. And if you look at history, the people who have done the most in life have had the most fucked up lives.
Yep.
Like, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, they've
Yep.
been through shit that you're just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You went through that much shit and then you invented flight.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, you invented electricity or you did, you know what I mean? Nobody was like, yeah, I was sitting on my throne, and counting my money, my gold pieces, and then, oh, I thought, okay, maybe I'm gonna go ahead and create this too. You know what I mean? It's the people that go through the most amount of shit because those people have been on the other side, right? So they know, okay, I know how bad, like that guy that you're talking about, the Hyundai guy, he knows how bad it can get. Like he knows, he's been there, right? So for him, knowing how bad it can be, he's like, I'm never gonna go back there. I'm not gonna allow my
Exactly.
family to go
Go
through what I
there.
went through.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, no
Yeah.
way. That
Yeah.
guy's you will never see that guy in that position again. Even if his company failed and went bankrupt, and that guy a year later will have another company. He'll have
Yes.
another car company. He'll have another deal with
Yep.
Ford.
Yep.
He's not going like that. People like that just
Yeah.
don't go away.
Yeah.
They just
Yep.
don't go away. They're like, okay, cool. This one's out. Cool, no worries. I'm gonna get working on the next one.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like that's just how it is, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And you know what drives me most crazy is that thing is in everybody. People go, well, I don't have that. Yes, you do. You
Yes.
have it.
Yeah.
It's there. You
Yeah, you
have
gotta
it. You're
pull it
just
out. You
not.
gotta let them see it. Let
You,
them see
you,
it and let them work on it and bring it out.
yeah, you're not tapping into it.
Yep. Yeah.
You're holding yourself back. It's like
Hmm.
abs, right? Everybody has abs.
Hmm.
Everybody has abs, right?
Hmm.
Some people's abs are covered. because they don't do what it takes for
s-
the abs to be
yeah,
shown. You know, they always say abs are made in the kitchen. It's a fact. You know,
yeah,
if you eat like shit, you're not gonna be able to see your abs. That's just how it is. You know, but
yeah,
if you eat clean just a little bit, then you go, oh shit, I can see my top abs. You eat a little bit
right,
cleaner. Oh, I can see
right,
my middle abs. Oh, I got a
yeah,
six pack. Oh,
yeah.
but it takes discipline to do that.
It
You know what I
does.
mean? So when you see, unless you're like some skinny person that just doesn't have any fat, you know, if you're a runner and you have no muscle and you have no fat on your body, yeah, you can see your abs because it's just skin there. That's why you can see.
Yeah,
But if somebody's in shape and it has abs, because that person sacrificed eating right, sacrificed training every day, doing cardio, doing the right things to make himself look good or make herself look good. You know, you don't get like that without discipline. You know, which is why I love the sport of bodybuilding. You know what I mean? The
yeah,
sport of bodybuilding. Like you, I know you wanted to compete,
yep.
which is a great thing. I think
Mhm.
100% you should do it. Especially now, we got Tony on board and everything.
Excited about
You
that.
like, yeah, you don't have to
Mhm.
worry about any of that. And we have, I mean, we've got the Eat Clean Bro guys that sponsor us. You know, we can get meal prep.
Oh,
So it
nice.
will make your life really easy. So all you have to do is really focus on doing the task, right? Getting to the gym, getting your cardio in, doing your workouts and eating right and stuff like that. And then you're good. That's it. That's all you got to
Yeah,
do.
80% of it's diet. You know, I actually entered the bodybuilding industry about just under a year and a half. Started with a regional show and then immediately went to two national shows, right? Didn't know much
Nice.
about it, but it transformed my way of thinking, you know, through that
Yeah.
discipline, through the pain that you feel through exercise,
Yeah.
and then moving past that where almost like you don't feel it anymore. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Even just doing
Hmm.
abductors, right? 100 times, right? Because it's all
Yeah.
volume and then work,
Yeah.
work. And but it transforms not just your body, because it's nice to
Yeah.
see your body sculpt, but something's transformative in your mind
Oh
too
yeah.
when you
Oh
push
yeah.
yourself to that next limit. And I know
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm talking about because you're a warrior too. Between
Yeah.
being a jujitsu fighter and then being
Yeah.
in the war in Blackwater, you know,
Yeah.
you have to get to that uncomfortable feeling to the point where it becomes comfortable,
Oh yeah.
right? And
You
then
got it.
and then you're not even attached to any of it. And you're like, holy cow, the sky's the limit. There's so
Hundred
much
percent.
I could do, right?
100%.
And
Hundred
that's what
percent.
little by little you teach people through witnessing, right? Through
Hmm.
being the best version of who we are. They
Hmm.
see it, they feel it, they're like, holy cow, there's
Hmm.
something about this person I feel, right? And I
Hmm.
want, and not that it's vain or anything, but you just want to be a witness,
Yeah.
the best version of you all the time. And that comes with a great responsibility
Yep.
because you're always being on like watch, right? You can't make, but you can because, like you said, you do all these ads. People want transparency. They
Yeah.
want to see that you've freaking struggled
Hmm.
and you are that you fall, but you get back up
Yeah.
because there is no perfection. Imperfection is perfection, and
Yeah.
that's part of what we're doing here. And that's what I just want people to know that everything that I've done, that you've done, that can it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody can do that. You just need to
Yeah.
tap into
You gotta want it.
yourself.
You
You
gotta
gotta
want it.
want it too. You
Yeah.
have to want it, and
Yeah.
that's the most important. Most people don't know what it is that they want,
Yeah.
and that's the
Yeah.
first step. And
Yeah.
then from
Find
there,
your purpose. You
yes,
know, finding
yeah,
your purpose is something that people just kind of don't pay attention to. But if people would just sit down and try to figure out, like, what do I want to do? Like, people
exactly.
don't realize, like, look, if you're even if you're in your 20s, right? So let's say you're in your 20s, you have 60 summers left on this earth, right? On average. You got
Yes,
60 Christmases, you got 60 more birthdays, you got, you know what I mean? 60. That's it. That's it. And think about it like this too. That's when you're 20, right? So at 80, if you don't take care of yourself starting at 20, so when you're 80, your 80s, you're gonna be like basically walking dead anyway, right? So you want to be like 80, but like my grandfather, he was 114 when he passed. Okay, he didn't have
wow.
anybody showering him. He didn't need anybody to take him to the restroom. He didn't need anybody to like do any. I mean, he worked out every single day. Like his thing was, and he was born in Russia, right? And his thing was, he always told me, he goes, "Look, just do this, okay? You work out every day.
Yep,
You eat raw fruits every day. You eat raw vegetables every day.
Yeah.
and you drink vodka every day. I'm like,
I like that. Potato
I'm
vodka.
like the last part. I get the first three, but are you sure about the last part? He's like, yes, drink the vodka. And he literally, when I tell you, he was doing it all the way to the end. Like it would be raining outside. He would put on his raincoat and he would be like, all right, I'm gonna go for
That's
my walk.
nice.
Like he didn't. I'm like, it's raining. Can you wait till it stops raining? He's like, no, no, no. I go. I'm like, well, take an umbrella with you, Jesus. You know what I mean? But he did it to the very end.
Yeah.
And when he passed away in his sleep. Like his just his clock was done.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't die from any ailments. He didn't die from a heart attack. He didn't die from organ failure. He didn't die from anything like that. You know,
Right.
he passed away in his sleep. You know,
Naturally.
and
Yeah.
and yeah, but it's just it's not rare. It's just rare in America, right?
Right.
Because in those places, like when he was growing up, they grew everything. They grew
Right.
their vegetables. They grew their fruit. The meat came from the farms. You know what I mean? There was nothing like it was everything was organic. Everything was organic.
Yeah. No, I love
So
that.
right, it's different
Eating
here.
fruit for sure. Yeah.
Drive-throughs, drive. I mean, if
I
people would
know.
just stop going through drive-throughs, the population would just completely change. Just because of
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Just being
people like,
mindful. Yeah, for sure. And purposeful about every meal that we have. And
yes,
I think
yeah,
honestly, being purposeful about everything we do, right?
yeah,
Like we're
yeah,
always thinking about what we want, but you know what? What only exists is right here, right now. So on that note, I want to continue this. I want just know that this is just the beginning. This is
yeah,
just some tidbits of what's to come. I'd love to continue this growth and there's any discussions or anything that you guys want to learn more about, something that you heard just in this podcast that resonates with you that you want us to touch on, please let us know. We're happy to chime on that. But no, we're
yep,
not going anywhere. We're just going to continue to grow through
mm-hmm,
your podcast and through Live Fit
yep,
and Thrive. You can follow us and subscribe to us. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. I mean, there's Paj, Mahajer, I'm Mary Ann Coffey. We just want to just keep this going because there's so
yeah,
many things we can cover.
yeah,
And I just think that people just need raw stuff, like things that are not scripted, things
yep.
that I didn't even think about. I didn't even know what we're going to talk about this discussion. And
That's the
that's
best
what I'm
way.
looking for,
That's
like,
the best way.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So
that's
I
the
don't know if
best
there's
way.
anything else you'd like to add, Paj. Appreciate
No,
your
you
time.
know, I have one question before we sign off on this one.
Sure.
I think it's important for your viewers to know the purpose that you're even doing this podcast. I
Yeah.
think it's important for them to know, like, why did you
Yeah.
even want to do this podcast?
It was to uplift, right? Is to
Hmm.
share my journey on how I got to where I am, right? I
Hmm.
am grateful every day, right? But I wouldn't have gotten to this point without God,
Hmm.
right? Without having Him in the center of everything that I do.
Hmm.
And what I do here at my practice, it is a gift because I do minister. And I try to bring out the highest form of that person while they're here, even if it's just for disport, even if it's
Hmm.
just for something they didn't even know they were here for. And
Right,
oftentimes they leave here and like, I had no idea that you had all this stuff. And
right,
that's what I want to do. I want people to listen to this and to feel higher than where they were. So why am I here? To uplift humanity. I know it sounds good, but it's to bring you back to that, bring you another level, right? And keep
hmm,
keep letting you grow the way we were intended to.
right.
And that's why I'm doing this.
I
And I
love
pray
it.
that it happens organically. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But
Well,
I'm
it
I'm
is happening
excited.
organically
Thank you.
because you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
This is not, and we talked about this before we went on the air. Is that you know, we're just basically having a conversation, the
Yep.
same as we do on the phone
Yes.
or in the group setting or whatever. It just happens to be a camera rolling at the same time, which
Awesome.
is this is never going to be produced.
Right.
So just you know, I can't wait to be back on, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to have you on our show.
Thank
So
you.
hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll figure that out. Have the whole team over there. I know we have some awesome announcements to make as well, so I'm pumped up about that. So
Nice.
looking forward to the future. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Padre. Appreciate your
you're
time.
welcome.
Okay.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Have a great day.
You too.